The instant I stepped into the crowded living room, I sensed it, an unseen wall rising between me and everyone else. My wife, Isla, was laughing with a cluster of friends, her arm resting with ease around the shoulder of a man I didn't recognize. She didn't so much as glance in my direction. "She's the one who dragged me here," I muttered under my breath, more to myself than to anyone nearby. But it wasn't just the party. It was her whole demeanor. The effortless way she erased me from her world, as if I were invisible. I had told her earlier that I wasn't in the mood for socializing, that I just wanted a quiet evening at home. She insisted. "You need to loosen up," she'd said with the same smile that used to melt me. Tonight, it felt like mockery. I lingered at the doorway, debating whether to step in, maybe catch her eye with a smile or a joke. But the more I tried, the clearer it became. She wasn't going to notice me. The chatter rolled on, laughter spilling across the room, yet no one looked my way. My chest tightened. I felt myself shrinking, like a ghost in my own life. I forced a mask of calm over my frustration, drifting between groups with polite nods and half-hearted smiles. Still, the sting clung to me. Every burst of laughter from her circle was a fresh cut. Part of me wanted to leave, to escape the humiliation. But another part stayed rooted, holding on to a foolish hope that she'd pull me back in like she used to, that she'd let me belong again. Minutes dragged like hours. I watched her lean close to a man with dark hair, their heads nearly touching as they whispered. My stomach dropped. My fists clenched at my sides. How long had this been going on? How long had I been reduced to nothing more than an afterthought in my own marriage? I couldn't take it anymore. Muttering an excuse to a friend, I slipped through the crowd and out the door. The cool night air was an instant relief, but it couldn't quiet the hollow ache in my chest. Leaning against the brick wall, I shut my eyes, replaying every detail, the way she laughed at his words, the way she swept her hair over her shoulder as if inviting him to notice. For the first time, I felt like I was really seeing her, and the sight terrified me. My phone buzzed. I looked down, searching for a distraction, and froze when I saw her name flash across the screen.
"Come back."
The message made my heart lurch. I stared at it, disbelief and anger colliding inside me. That casual command felt empty, almost cruel. My fingers moved before I could stop them. "Why should I? You ignored me all night." Her reply came quickly.
"I know.
I just wanted you to feel what it's like." The words struck like a hammer. I sank onto the steps, gripping my phone so hard my knuckles whitened. "What does that even mean?" I whispered into the night air, confusion spilling out with my breath. The message blinked back at me, simple, sharp, and brutally honest. I shut the phone off and shoved it into my pocket. I couldn't face her yet. I wandered aimlessly, trying to untangle the storm of emotions twisting inside me: betrayal, anger, sorrow. There was something deliberate in the way she treated me, like she wanted me to understand exactly how small I'd become to her. By the time I finally returned home, silence had replaced the noise of the party. The house felt empty, almost hollow. She was moving through the living room, slipping on her coat and lifting her purse as if nothing had happened. I wanted to shout, to demand answers, but all I could do was watch her, hoping for some flicker of guilt, some echo of the woman I thought I knew. At last, the words broke free, my voice trembling, not with rage, but with hurt. "Why?" She turned, surprise flickering briefly across her face.
"Why?"
"What?" she asked lightly, as though I'd inquired about the weather. "Why tonight? Why him? Why pretend I don't exist?" The last words caught in my throat, heavy with pain. For a heartbeat, her eyes softened, but behind that softness was a distance that made my chest ache even more. "I wanted you to feel it, Soren," she said quietly. "To understand what it's been like for me, overlooked, unseen." "I've been here, Isla," I replied, my voice cracking under the weight of frustration. "I've been trying. For months, I've been reaching out, trying to close this gap between us. And every time, you push me farther away." She exhaled as if surrendering to something inevitable. Maybe I did. Maybe I needed to know if you would fight for me. A bitter laugh escaped my lips, hollow and sharp. Fight for you? That's what I've been doing every single day. And tonight, instead of letting me in, you made me feel smaller than ever. You made me feel like a stranger in my own marriage. She moved closer, extending her hand as if to bridge the distance, but I pulled back. Don't, I said, my tone firm. Don't touch me. Not until I understand why you did this. Not until I know why you'd humiliate me in front of everyone. Her eyes faltered, the confidence in her face slipping. I never meant to humiliate you, she whispered. I needed to know if you still saw me, if you still cared. Her words cut deep, but instead of healing, they tore the wound wider. I had seen her. I had cared every single day. But the way she engineered tonight, casting me aside in front of strangers, felt less like a revelation and more like cruelty dressed as honesty. I shook my head slowly. Caring doesn't matter if it's invisible to the person it's meant for. I need more than your tests, Isla. I need us to be real again, not just two people living in the same house, pretending to be partners. Her lips trembled, and for a fleeting second, I thought I saw regret. But then she straightened, steel slipping back into her voice. And what if you're the one who's blind, Soren? What if you've been neglecting me too, only in different ways? Her words struck truth, but they didn't soften the sting. If anything, they sharpened it. We had both failed. Tonight was simply the mirror showing us what we had become. I can't do this anymore, I said at last, the weight of it pressing down on me. I can't keep fighting for recognition, for scraps of acknowledgement. I love you, Isla, I always have. But I need more than this. I need honesty. I need trust. I need to feel wanted, not tested. She didn't protest. She just looked at me, her expression a storm of emotions I couldn't name. Sadness, regret, frustration, maybe even the same helplessness I carried. Silence filled the room, heavy and suffocating. With trembling hands, I grabbed my coat and headed for the door. Her voice followed me, soft, urgent, calling my name, but I didn't turn back. I stepped out into the night, the cold air stinging my cheeks, each step a painful confirmation of my choice. By morning, her message waited on my phone. I didn't mean for it to hurt this much. Come back.
Please.
I stared at the words, torn between longing and rage. In that moment, I understood. We were standing at the breaking point of our marriage. A place where love collided with pain, where trust could no longer survive on hope alone. I might forgive. I might even try again. But forgetting? That was impossible. I set the phone down and walked to the window, watching the sunrise spill across the city. The light felt cold, indifferent, revealing the gulf carved between us by our mistakes. My heart ached, but with the ache came a strange clarity. I had to choose myself before I could choose anyone else. And for now, that meant walking away, even if it was the hardest decision I had ever made.